If you haven't heard of the Supercat already, then fair enough, because you probably work long hours and don't have a lot of time to spend on the internet. But for everyone else, it's been an online sensation ever since it appeared at Goodwood last summer in 2025.
Yeah, 58.8, but it's a lovely machine.
Wow.
It's like something from Star Trek. I know it's going to be a stunt for me to try and get.
You know, if I look at that front splitter and I take it to Italy.
But if you haven't, then let me fill you in.
Walkinshaw and the number 8.
Starting from the beginning.
Jaguar, the man who dictated the pullback from yet another Jaguar.
Originally, TWR was founded by legendary driver and engineer Tom Walkinshaw. Throughout the 80s and 90s, TWR became one of the most influential names in motorsport and performance cars. Now it's making a return. Tom's son, Fergus, has partnered with my dad to bring TWR into the modern day. Their first project is the Supercat.
Sensational.
A supercharged V12 reimagining of the XJS and a resurgence of TWR's famous partnership with Jaguar. So, today, the Supercat is here at Donington Park for a fantastic no-limit track day. Stick around until the end for more of that. We will be heading out in my dad's Hennessey-modified Camaro Z28 to attempt to keep up with the Supercat around the circuit. What you're about to see could be the first and possibly only recorded full lap of the near-production Supercats before customer cars begin reaching their owners. But first, I'm going to speak to TWR test driver David Hornsey, who has been instrumental in developing the Supercat from the ground up. There are plenty of technical questions I could ask Dave, but what really interests me is Goodwood.
This is definitely going to be the fastest time so far. Yeah, we're into the 50s now. 55.99. So, well done to David Hornsey, who has now set the pace for everybody else.
After years of development behind closed doors. It was the moment the public finally got to see the Supercat perform.
It has a wonderful sound, and it's a fantastic machine to watch.
We love a bit of a crowd pleaser.
Last year at Goodwood, the Supercat wasn't meant to be doing the time trials, but because of its popularity, they were invited to do it. So first, I'm going to speak to David Hornsey, test driver for TWR and the man who was unexpectedly asked to race.
Yeah, so I joined the team a couple of years ago now.
Okay.
Fergus has done a lot of preliminary work on the car, and me and Fergus have completely polar opposite driving styles. So the theory was if we could make a car that we were both happy with, it should cover everybody. And so he drove the car up at Goodwood last year. Unexpectedly, we were asked to do the time trials. How did it feel? Hey, big moment. I've done the festival for lots of different manufacturers over the years, but always just doing demo runs like we were planning to do last year. So you put on a show for the crowd, you make a bit of noise, make a bit of tyre smoke, and show the car off.
Into second place, so third at the hill, and at least in that class, fourth.
When you're actually trying to go for a time, when you're pushing, it gets very narrow and it feels very fast.
Yeah, you were flying around the wall as well. Like, that's a blind corner, obviously. That must have been pretty, intense.
Yeah, and being good where there's no room for error because you've got the hay bales either side of the road. It's also the Lena Gay, when she was working for Audi as the team manager, her famous phrase, push but no risk.
Right.
And it's just trying to find that fine balance between you want to go as fast as possible, but you can't make a mistake.
And you did a good job because you beat quite a few cars unexpectedly, because you weren't prepared at all to do the time trials. Like, you were on the wrong tyres and you didn't have the right fuel in. Everybody else who had booked in to do the time sessions, they had multiple practice sessions over the weekend, pushing hard. Yeah. We were just thrown straight into qualifying on Saturday with no attempt at trying to go fast beforehand. So it was almost like being a completely new track, and just, send it, see what happened. For the second run on the Sunday, I just looked back at where I'd done what I thought were areas I could improve on the first run. I just focused on those. Like, everything else, do the same, but there was 3 specific areas I wanted to just maximise those a little bit more. There's always going to be plenty left in the tank, but I just pushed for those bits, nailed it, and really pleased with the time we got out of the car. We were all really happy with it. Like, when we saw it going up, we were like, yeah, Dave did it. Was that like a proud moment for you as well? Like, that you
Absolutely,
did really
well? Yeah. Like, coming back down the hill, when you're going up, you don't notice everybody around, but coming back down, you get a massive round of applause from the crowd. And then when we got back down to the paddock at the bottom, everyone stood around there, and John presented me with a pint of beer, and it's like, Perfect finish of the weekend.
We all stood around and clapped as you parked in the tent. Well, that's really cool. Thank you for speaking. And now on to the story behind my dad's Camaro Z28, which is coincidentally parked next to a Corvette Z06.
That's got the same engine. Yeah, they were made at the same time.
So they've got the same engine and they were made at the same time, so they are basically siblings.
They are.
Z06. Corvette.
So the Hennessey mod is basically top-end stuff on the engine. They do like cams, fueling, injectors, I think they do. They did exhaust, headers.
Why did you buy this?
I bought this because it's very limited. For an American car, this is, I think, 1,600 units, which is the equivalent of 100 units in a European car. Basically, that's unheard of in American manufacturing. They set a very quick, impressive time around the Nürburgring, which I loved watching.
Well,
so I watched it
as their marketing promotion.
Yeah, they developed this car at the Nürburgring. So it's got carbon ceramic brakes, it's got Multimatic suspension, it's all stripped out, there's no air conditioning, one speaker for the stereo.
Yeah, that's a bonus, right?
One speaker for the stereo. So it's basically as track focused as you can get for a US car, and I just like the whole philosophy of it. I thought it was really cool.
But are you saying that US cars aren't track cars?
Well, they're actually doing very well since this kind of generation, the C5 and C6 Corvette.
With the battle of the, the Mustang?
Yeah, now with GTD and the new Corvette. Yeah, it's all back to full-on battle, kind of similar to what was going on with the Ford Mustang 350R and this car back in that period. So they had a battle for kind of supremacy at all the tracks in the American fastest kind of muscle car. And yeah.
What do you think the top speed is?
Oh, not that high actually. I think so. It's quite short geared. I've done about 170, 180, obviously on the in Germany.
Yeah, yeah, on the autobahn. Obviously.
170. I think it was 170 something. That was pretty close to its top speed, I would say.
I should actually probably explain that you are involved with TWR, and that's why we were trailing the Supercat.
And it was a fairly good comparison as far as power levels and probably weight. It's similar-ish. The Supercat's a bit quicker.
Obviously.
Well, it's good to show the Supercat is, the performance is there, really. This did a 730, I think, and it was slightly damp that day when they set that at the Nürburgring.
So you're saying the Supercat's going to do...
Yeah, as a guide, I mean, you've got to say the Supercat's going to go low 7 minutes if you were comparing it. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, is that an official statement that the Supercat's going to do sub 730?
Non-official, drop the mic.
One more thing, actually. Apparently, at the Nürburgring, it was the stock version, so it had even less power than this one.
This is actually Hennessey tuned. Performance would have been considerably less than this Hennessey version, so there you go.
Without further ado, it's lap time. TJ is driving because he runs podium tours and he's very good on track. Also, stick around for more on the track day itself.
Let's do this.
3, 2, 1, go!
So the Supercat's on very cold tires, fresh tires.
Yeah. And we're on very old tires.
Yeah, very old tires with bald spots. Whoa.
Bye, bitch.
now TJ's trying to keep up with a professional race car driver on cold tires. I mean, on warm tires.
On very, very old tires.
Yeah, on very old tires.
We did miss a gear, that didn't help.
Yeah. Is this not catching him, or is he just slowing down?
I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe you have.
He wanted us to see him pull away again.
Okay.
He did that so he could pull away again.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's letting us stay behind him. I might need to cool down as well.
Yeah, we'll cool down.
Oh, that was a cool down for him.
I think that was his cool down.
That was his cool down.
That's why we caught him. That's crazy work. I thought we were catching him.
Yeah, I did too. No, I thought he was letting us stay behind him.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was on a cool down.
He might have been at like 80%.
Yeah.
Because we were going quite quick. I missed a gear though, that was kind of annoying. Oh,
Skill issue.
it is definitely a skill issue. I can never go from second to third because it's so alien to me.
I mean, yeah, you're used to driving on the right side, so obviously it's completely different using your right hand to change gears.
I don't think I did too bad. I think we're okay. I left the traction on it this time.
Yeah, we weren't sliding around as much as the practice laps.
Yeah.
Whoa! Nice. Sick. Hey Dave, can I ask you how much were you like sending it just then when we were trying to catch you? Like, give me a percentage, like 70%?
Yeah, 80, 85.
80, okay. Yeah, TJ thought, he said 80, 85.
Oh, I'll take that. That's good.
We were debating whether you were letting us catch you or not.
We're in the middle of us, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I want a little bit more footage and then
Yeah.
That was very kind of you to do that.
TJ's a pretty good driver. Now him and my dad are out on the lot. But I think my dad's driving. I think TJ was definitely pushing it more than my dad. At Goodwood it was straight piped, but here it's had a new muffler put on it, and somehow it's still the loudest car on track. This is an insane track day. No noise limit. We have a racetrack fuel station. There seems to have been a breakdown, so everyone was waiting at the pits. And kind of a plot twist. I didn't get to go on track, but there's a charity event, and who's driving the Supercat?
John McGuinness, very famous motorbike rider, highly successful in the Isle of Man TT races.
Is he going to need to push? Well, that's the thing, looking at the board, and he'll get an idea of whether he needs to. Look at everyone, the crowd are going absolutely nuts for this man, John McGuinness, who now has 22 wins, winning the Zero race earlier in the week.
So he's driving the Supercat, and he's never driven the Supercat before, but he's taking a passenger. a passenger who has paid a contribution to charity to go on a passenger lap with him in the Supercat. Somehow, my dad and I were unaware, but the Supercat was set to participate in Sir Chris Hoy's charity hot laps event that evening, where people or companies like TWR volunteered their cars for hot laps with celebrity drivers to raise money for cancer charities. So if I want to go, I have to pay £250. And I'm not sure if it's worth it because I'm feeling quite sick after the chase earlier. I'll go another time. maybe up the hill one time. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
1 year. The Guinness though. Where's the Guinness though? I see. Was he sponsored by Guinness? Hey, they may not let me drive it, but they let me sit inside.
I'm in my mum's car. Broom, broom.
This is the classic steering wheel, the XJS. It is a GT car, so it's got pretty nice seats, but you can change these out for bucket seats if you're more track focused. A LaFerrari. So there is actually a noise limit on the evening sessions. So he's not gunning it down the straight because there's a detector over there. So Chris Harris is in that Tuttle 911. That was John McGuinness driving, and apparently he would be drifting if he didn't have traction control on.
Yeah, he's not actually that experienced car racing or driving. He's done a lot of bikes and he races trucks. So
yeah, so they kept traction control on.
Yeah,
for
we
him.
haven't kept traction control.
Because would he have spun basically into the wall?
Well, no, he may have been able to hold a drift. We don't know. Let's not judge him. Here we go. There we go. They love to drift that 911K.
Oh yeah, he's catching the Ferrari. Nice recovery. Alright, so that's Chris Hoy. And the McLaren's drifting behind him.